Welcome everyone to another episode of Brewed Scenes with your host Isabella. And today, if you hear some background noise, I am back on UCF campus with my friend Alex. This is someone who I met through. It was what was it? It was like a film.
Yeah, it was the Rosen Film Festival, I believe. I
Yes.
forget what it was called, but it was at the Rosen College,
Yeah.
and we both had a film there.
No,
So
I didn't even film there. I was there supporting my film friends, and then I saw your project, and I was like, I
yes,
must
that's
connect.
what it was. That's what it was.
Yes,
No,
yes,
and that
yes.
was nice. We met for just 1 second, and that was a fun film festival.
That was
I really enjoyed it.
That was awesome. So yeah, this is my friend Alex. He is a aspiring film composer, but I won't introduce him myself. Alex, if you would love to go ahead and speak about yourself to the
Yes.
audience, who you are.
So I'm Alex. I am a UCF student currently in my undergrad, and I have a kind of unique background, I guess, because I'm studying computer science and music composition, which is a really weird combination. But I do it mostly because I really like finding the kind of abstract overlap between them, where it's like computer science is technical skills, music composition is creative skills, and it's really fun for me to try to find a way to, I guess, apply technical skills to a creative project. And so that's kind of what I did with the short film that was at that festival. And yeah, and my ultimate dream job, as you mentioned, would be to be a film composer. And so I will be working towards that,
Yeah.
either as a hobbyist or as my ultimate dream job someday.
Yes.
We'll
Yes,
see.
yes. Before we get into the film conversation or music conversation today, is there a local coffee shop you would like to promote, or is there a specific order at a cafe that you are currently obsessed with?
Well, I think I probably have to say Austin's Coffee. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you've heard of it. You
I've
know
heard
Austin's?
of it, but they
Okay.
also, they reopened.
They just
recently.
reopened literally
Yes.
last week, and I only went there once, and I still have yet to really experience like the full breadth of the new place. But Austin's Coffee, the establishment itself at their old location, is something that I've been going to for maybe 7 years since I was in high school, and they have great opportunities for local musicians and stuff like that. I love them; they're great. So I would say Austin's Coffee. Go to
Oh,
Austin's
okay.
Coffee if you
Yeah.
if you do not know.
Yes, I want to check that out. I have that saved on my
It's
in my
pretty
cafe
fun.
list. Okay, so I would say, have you gone to the movies recently?
You know what? Surprisingly, I have not. So that is. You know, that's a great conversation starter. I have not been to the movies recently. I have been obsessed with a few movies recently. I will
Okay.
say probably my most recent, very, very long-term obsession has been the Lord of the Rings series,
my God,
which
happy
I think
25th.
yeah, I know. They literally just celebrated their 25th. And I think they'll be coming to theaters soon or something like
Yes,
that. So
right
I would,
now.
Is it right now?
Yes,
Oh, I
yes,
might
it
be
is.
missing it. But I've been obsessed with those movies because of the music for a little while. It's been a long while, to be honest. And so that's kind of what's been on my mind recently. Before that, I feel like the most recent movies I've seen would be things like Sinners last summer, which I loved. I loved Sinners so much. It was so good.
Great. It was fantastic.
And then just rewatching a few things. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Would you say Lord of the Rings is what catapulted you, and was that like the catalyst to what made you want to start film composing?
It was definitely not the catalyst because I didn't know much about it before I started composing, but it's definitely inspired me like a lot since then. I would say the catalyst, if anything, would be Star Wars and Harry Potter from John Williams
Oh,
because
yes.
yeah, the
Yeah.
classics, of course. And so I in 8th grade I was obsessed with the Harry Potter scores, and I would just like start notating the music down and be like, I want to arrange this for cello, and then I'd try to write that like crazy violin part that goes on cello, and it's like, oh wait, this is impossible, I can't play this. But that was probably where I got into composing for the first time. And I remember one of the first things I composed, I guess. It was something that I put a lot of time into, a lot of effort, and it was a full orchestral score. I was super happy with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my first amazing original composition. I listened to it again, and then I watched Star Wars The Last Jedi again, and I realized I had just written down one of the tracks that was in Star Wars The Last Jedi without realizing. And I thought I had written it, and I was like, wait, I just wrote down John Williams, and I thought I had written it because I forgot. But
That's actually impressive.
Well,
You
thank
not
you.
connecting the dots.
I know.
Meanwhile, doing it.
I was so happy. I was like, this is genius. I composed something amazing, and then I realized, oh, the genius himself composed it. So that, you know.
Right. You know, what really started you wanting to what was the origin sort of like with you falling in love with music, with orchestra? Because I'm an orchestra kid myself.
Yes.
I played from sixth grade up to senior year of high school, and then ice station's on pause. The hobby's on pause. The hobby
You
is
should
on
start
pause.
it again. It's so much
Yeah.
fun. Well, to get started with music in general, I mean, the first thing was my parents told me how to play an instrument in like fifth grade, and I was like, I don't know, the cello sounds interesting. That's
Right,
fine, and so I
right.
started playing cello. And then, kind of from then on, I got increasingly more interested in music, and I eventually found a passion for it. At first, it was kind of like, oh, I have to practice this thing.
Right,
Oh,
right.
I don't really want to practice. But then, I got more interested in it. I got better, and I enjoyed doing it more. And then composing came along, as I mentioned, kind of through John Williams, and was like, I really want to write for films because that is such a cool thing, and he writes really good stuff. And then I just kind of threw a shot in the dark and auditioned for the UCF composition studio program, and I got in, and I was like, well,
Yay.
I got in. It's a very selective program. I might as well go through with it.
Yeah.
So I did, and now that's what I'm doing. So that's kind of how I got into it, I would say. It's been really fun, though. I love composing so much.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you play any instruments besides the cello?
I play, bass, kind of. I picked up bass in high school for my jazz band, and then piano because for composers, piano is kind of like the thing you have to. You should be good at piano if you want to compose. You don't have to be, but like it helps a lot. And so I would say I could play piano pretty well, and then cello is definitely my main, and bass is kind of like I can
It's
play it
just-
if I need to.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's what's as of recently, like what has been your approach to like I guess start something? Is it just like a movie, or is it like a person, or is it a scenario?
You mean in composition?
Yes.
That's a great question. So I really, really, really like of course I like film music, but I like the narrative composition aspect where it's like people writing music to tell a story, and the idea of like leitmotifs and things in music where it's like something in music represents a character or an emotion or a place or something. And that fascinates me a lot, which is partially why I love Lord of the Rings so much, because everything in there is a leitmotif. And it's so much fun. So I would say that the things that inspire me to start composing would be either a really cool story that I like, or an emotion, or like an image. And so like I wrote the cello choir piece that you heard actually was written based off of kind of an image that I had made in Blender a couple years back, and it was just like more of like an image based piece where it's like I want to capture this vibe, and this idea, and then I was able to hopefully successfully translate it to music and then get that to a position where I like it. And so that's they come from different sources, but I would say it's more narrative based, where it's like I want to represent something in music, usually a story or something like that.
Cool. Have you two questions I would say, like, do you remember the first time when you went to the theater and the first time where like you experienced like a professional orchestra?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, for theaters, the first movie I saw in theaters was Up in 2008. And I remember that very well. Yeah. No, and I think my parents at the time, they were very, they wanted to make sure that anything that me and my brother watched were, age appropriate and all that. And at the time, I think I remember when we saw Up, they didn't know that like the first bit of it was really sad, genuinely like really
no
sad.
No one does.
And I know.
No
it's,
one.
It's such a surprise. And so we saw it in the theaters, and I remember them being like, "Oh my gosh, that was so depressing. That was so sad." But it was a wonderful first experience, and of course, some of the best music in an animated movie, in any movie. Michael Giacchino's amazing. As far as professional orchestra goes, that's difficult because I've been part of orchestra for a while. I would say that I've been in that world for quite a few years. I think one of the first pieces that I remember seeing from a full orchestra was The Planets by Gustav Holst, which is,
oh my
you
God,
probably heard it.
I remember playing that. I remember playing the Jupiter Ranger. Oh,
yeah,
for
Jupiter is the
honors,
most
for
common.
the honors orchestra.
Yeah. Oh, the Allstate Honors Orchestra?
Oh no, I was good but not that good.
Okay.
Good but not that good.
Well,
yeah.
I saw the Planets by Holst, and that's of course something that John Williams has quoted, and people online are always like, a lot of people are like, John Williams ripped off Holst. He just copied some of the stuff, which he did, but like, it's kind of valid. I like where he put it. But so that was definitely influential in the sense that it helped me kind of get a sense for what an orchestra actually sounds like and all of that. And now, from then up until now, that's my favorite thing to compose for. It's very difficult to, of course, because it's massive and you have to use synthesizers and all that. It's impossible to get something played by an actual orchestra. I've only gotten it once, and I'm like extremely lucky that I've been able to get something played. but it's so much fun. I love writing for orchestras. So
Oh, that's awesome. I do want to go back to the film that I saw at the film festival. If you want to talk to them about that, like the concept
yes,
and everything about it.
so the film is called What If Sunsets Could Last Forever. It's an 18-minute animated short film that I made. It's kind of a crazy story because it was literally I mentioned that I got to compose for orchestra once, and that was the time. And it was because my former youth orchestra was like, "Hey, if anyone's interested in being part of a composition program, we're accepting auditions or applicants." And so I applied. I sent them some of my music, and they were like, "Great, you can have the top orchestra." And I was like, "Whoa, oh my gosh, that's amazing!" And so I got the
Yeah.
same one that I was a part of, which is like the best in the program. I was like, "Wow, this is an incredible opportunity. I don't want to waste it." And my mentor, who they also signed to me as part of my program, who's also my composition professor right now, which is funny.
Oh
Um,
wow.
he was like, "Hey, you really love films. You should write something for a film." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, where am I gonna get a film? I don't know. Like, if I could rescore somebody's film, but then there's copyright and all that."
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Well, I guess I could make one." So,
Hey, do it myself, I guess. I don't
yeah, I
know.
guess. And so that's how I tried to get into it. And I going back to mentioning my computer science versus music composition major, it's like I used my CS skills to learn Blender and to learn how to animate and all that, and then I was able to kind of apply that to make the short film. And it came together so last minute, of course, because like the night before the concert where they were gonna play it on the projecting screen and play the orchestra with it, I was still making edits, and
Of
I was like,
course.
this is not where I wanted to be, but it's okay. And it was pretty good. It was amazing. Such an incredible experience being able to give 80 something musicians a piece of music, and
Yeah.
then they can actually play it. And then of course the fact that they decided to play it with the film like live in concert was so cool.
That's so
And, like
cool.
that never happened. So I was extremely lucky and super thankful to the people who let me do that and be a part of that program. Um, and then I spent the next 6 months or so refinishing bits of the
Mhm.
film and reanimating things, and I was like, there's some really bad walk cycles in there that look really nasty. I'm gonna redo those and fix it, and it looked a lot better.
Mhm.
And then I submitted it to film festivals and stuff, and so that's the version that you saw was the kind of better version.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! But one of the biggest things is that I'll definitely link this in the description because everyone has to see this. There's no dialogue.
Yes, the
There's no
dialogue.
dialogue, and I think that's what's breathtaking about it for me because it truly showcased like that is the definition of how music can tell a story, bring emotion, and it oh my god, like it brought me back to like what I imagined like silent films were, where the pianist is right there and
I
the
really
people
appreciate that.
like it truly is, and also the animation style very unique, showing appreciation to animators that I don't think there's enough of.
Well,
I'm
yeah, that
I'm
is true.
very like devastated to see like what's happening with AI and everything. Even though
Hmm.
many use it as a tool, I do appreciate everything that animation has to do with nowadays. Do you
Yes.
have any? Would you say do you have any like favorite animation films that you look towards frequently as inspiration?
The biggest inspiration for me for that film specifically was a film like Into the Spider-Verse, because
Oh my
that started the
gosh!
2.5D trend in animation, where it's like, oh, we can make things look really stylized and really cool and have all these different art forms coming together, which is of course like the Spider-Verse plays perfectly into that. So I love that film so much. And I think that was the biggest inspiration as far as the style goes, because I know I kind of wanted to mix styles a little bit, and so I spent a lot of time in kind of like a research and development phase where I was like, I was trying these new shaders out to make
Mhm.
things look painted, and I made some scripts that would be able to kind of outline the characters with a kind of anime line art style,
Okay, okay.
which was very weird to work with. It was, oh my gosh, that was a whole hassle to get through. But it made the film look really interesting. It definitely has a unique feel to it. And so I'd say Into the Spider-Verse was the biggest inspiration, but I love all, and I would say Ghibli, just any Ghibli
Oh,
film would be a big inspiration as well. I feel like for the painted look and
yes,
like the
yes,
clouds
yeah,
and all of
yeah.
that, I really, really love Ghibli films. And so definitely just a bunch of things, but I would say Into the Spider-Verse was probably the reason that it looked the way it did, and it wasn't
Mm.
more traditional animation or photoreal or something. I would not have been able to do photoreal, but like, that's the reason I didn't try for that, is because I realized that you could blend art styles and you can
Mm.
make something look more stylized than just traditional Pixar animation or
Mm.
photoreal VFX or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually really really cool. I will say that's one thing why for me I don't have a very specific animation style that I like, because with every animation style it's like there's that within itself is a
Of course, yeah.
storytelling element. But do you use a letterbox by any chance?
I wish I did, but I did prepare my top four because I
Okay.
do not. I need to get on Letterboxd. But if that's the question you're
Yes,
asking,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Well, I guess talking about Ghibli animated films, one of my top four is Grave at the Fireplace. Which,
Really?
yes, I love that film so much. I will never watch it if I want to be happy, obviously, because it is like the worst of the worst when it comes to sad movies. But I really really like it, not only because there's beautiful animation and music and the direction is great. But I feel like it's one of those movies that like everybody kind of needs to watch at some point in their life.
Fair
It's
enough.
like a social responsibility where it's like you should watch this film to be able to understand historical context and all of that. So that's on my top four. Do you want to hear the others?
Yes,
Or talk
of
about okay?
course, of
So
course.
I think Everything Everywhere at Once is
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
top
Oh,
four. That's
crazy,
I mean
crazy
it's
film.
yeah, no, it's insane. And again, the directing there is just like, how on earth did this happen? I have no idea. Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to also say Fellowship of the Ring is probably in my
Yeah.
top four because it's a classic, and I could
Yes.
watch that over and over and over again just to listen to the music. I was listening to the music on the way here actually.
Yay.
And then the other one was Life of Pi by Ang
Oh
Lee,
my
2012.
God.
I love that
I
movie
have
so
not
much.
seen that movie
You
in
haven't seen
ye-
Life of Pi?
I
Oh
haven't,
my
but
goodness.
when it came out, I haven't seen the movie in over 10 years.
Yes,
Wow, I need to
I
revisit
love that
it.
movie so much. I mean, I think there's a good conversation to be had about whether bits of it are like gentrification or appropriation because it's a very it's an American studio with a non-Indian director talking about a very Indian story, especially in the first half. But I think I like to look past the story element solely and like look at all the filmmaking aspects, and
Yeah.
it's like the music is incredible.
Yeah.
The cinematography is incredible. It won those 2 Oscars, I know, on top of a couple others. And the direction again is amazing. So it's just so fun to watch because it's like this is really cool, and some bits of the story too are really thought provoking. I like how it's very, it's a bit ambiguous. Like the ending is ambiguous, so you can kind of interpret what you want, and it's super cool. Because I've seen different arguments online as to what the real meaning of the story is, and like the conversations I think are super cool to have. So those are my top four.
Oh, okay, awesome. That is range. Wow. I will say I appreciate that you included an animated film, because that's one of my hot
Yes.
takes for many people in the film industry. If you use Letterboxd, a lot of people surprisingly don't have at least one animated film in their top
Really?
4. And I say
There's so many good ones.
that's weird.
Yeah, no, that's
Out of
great. Don't you
any-
have Howl's Moving Castle in yours?
I
Is that-
used to.
You used
No.
to? Okay, I thought I remembered that about you.
I used to, but I recently changed it and I put How to Train Your Dragon, the first one.
Okay, that's honestly a great replacement.
It's
I like Howl better, but you do.
really?
You, I would.
And
I
mind
do
you,
like Howl
I
better.
need to rewatch it because after our discussion of which yours said like it kind of makes no sense.
Yeah, I think it makes no sense. I mean, but I like that about it a lot. I think it's just cool to look at. It's
It's
beautiful to listen
crazy.
to and all
Oh.
that. But it's also like you can kind of make your own story, and it's like imaginative. It's so fun, like
Yeah.
Spirited Away, but a little bit more so. I feel like I saw Spirited Away recently in the theater, and it was amazing. I guess on the topic of movies that I did watch recently, I got to see that for Ghibli Fest. I was so happy.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
But yes, it was amazing.
No, I like if I were to remember the last time I watched Howl's Moving Castle, I was like, it kind of makes sense because it's like a movie where like it doesn't end in a way like it's supposed to be like a loop.
Yeah, and I need to watch it again too. Now that you mention it, but I remember when I watched it the first time, I was like, "What the heck is going on?
Right.
I have no clue what's happening. Why are there like a bird? Why is he a bird? They're like time traveling? Why is she old? Like all
Yeah.
this stuff." But it's so fun. It's just like classic Studio Ghibli imaginative fun. I feel like you could put it on a slider of like, you have Ponyo on one side where it's like a very specific story that makes makes pretty good sense, and then
Yes.
Spirited Away is in the middle where it's like there's some things that are like I don't know what's happening, but it's cool. And then
Yeah.
Howl is like really abstract, and it's like I don't know what's going on, but it's
Yeah.
fun to watch. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I love that movie.
Have you seen The Boy and the Heron?
No, it is on my list. Oh my gosh, I've heard great things about it.
I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I was not in the right headspace, but I watched it at home with my roommate, and I was like, what was that?
You didn't like it?
I understand what the story that it was trying to tell, like the
Uh-huh.
overarching storytelling aspect of it, but I don't know. Like there was just some things where I'm like, what is? I don't. I feel like the way you feel like with Howl is how I feel like with the Boy and the Heron. Like it's
Yeah.
beautiful. The music is insane. The voice acting was pretty impressive for like Robert Pattinson. But overall, like I was like, what is? Okay. Like sure.
Oh my
I
goodness.
just don't get it, and that's okay. As long as majority get it, they can go to sleep peacefully.
Yeah, that's great. I need to watch that at some point. So do you prefer the dubs, the Studio Ghibli dubs over
No.
subs? Really?
I'm
Okay,
a sub girl down,
that's
but I
probably good for the best.
please listen. I appreciate dubbing overall because it shows interest for these animation.
Oh yeah,
animation studios,
absolutely.
like international
It makes them
animation.
accessible for a lot of people who don't want to read.
And yeah, and it's
kids.
it's kind of yes for kids especially. But what I do like is that the sub is still there. Like you're able to access it, and I think that's what's important. It
Yes.
sucks for I think only some of the Studio Ghibli films on HBO don't have the sub. So you're only given the
Oh,
dub.
really?
I think so.
Oh, that's tragic. Oh my
So like
gosh.
that's where I feel conflicted. Where I'm like, well, if I'm only ever given the dub option, well, I'm gonna like it. And for me,
Yep.
I think how I approach it, same thing with anime. I'm going to listen to it in its original language, which is
Yes.
sub. I think that's how. And anyway, a lot of times, oh my God, there's a bird like right there. I'm like, please don't
Oh, hello.
speak. Please don't speak because your buddy over there was being very
He has got a
thought-provoking.
cool tail. I know. Oh, he's coming closer. Hello.
Hey, it reminds me of Rio. Oh my God,
Oh, wow,
wait.
he's so close. Okay, there he goes. Goodbye.
I do have a question. Are you a theater kid? Do you like musical
Oh my
theater?
goodness. Well, I love a lot of aspects about musical theater. I've never gotten into it myself.
Oh my gosh.
Except for the times I was forced to be in a play.
as it should.
Yeah, you know what was crazy is my 6th grade play at my elementary school. We did The Sound of Music. I love The Sound of Music. It's a great movie. I love the film itself, and then the story is wonderful already. They looked at me in 6th grade and were like, you know what role you should play? You should play the recruiting Nazi general. And I was in 6th grade, and I was like, oh, really? You want me to play that guy?
So you see me as a villain.
I know, that's what I was like. I was like, oh my goodness. But we did that play. It went well, except for the actual run of the play when I was supposed to have a conversation with somebody who walked on stage, and she took an extra 45 seconds in her quick change. So I was just standing on stage waiting for her, like in complete silence. But it was fine. But no, other than that, I haven't done any actual theater myself. But I really like it a lot. I saw Phantom of the Opera recently in Chicago. Like that's my
you
favorite.
kidding
I know.
me?
I was so lucky.
Oh my gosh.
My parents found resale tickets that weren't like crazy expensive. And we happened to be in Chicago when I was there, and so it was like, oh my goodness, let's go. And it was amazing. Of course, the best Phantom I have heard or seen. I've only seen it twice, but he was so good.
I haven't seen it yet. That's on my bucket list of shows to watch in life. But I've been told for this tour that this is one of the best Phantoms from
Absolutely,
the fans.
he is incredible. His like I'd love like the original cast recording with Michael Crawford. He sings amazingly, and I feel like his voice might fit it a little bit better.
See?
But the new guy, the guy who's playing him now, he had like the acting skills to back it up, whereas I feel like other people in recordings I've seen in the show I watched before did not have it. Like this guy, you could really feel what he was saying. It was amazing.
Oh my God,
And of course the
Masquerade! I can't.
yes, it's such a good track too. Oh my gosh. And I think they added some things in the show
Oh, nice.
for this run. Like just a couple, there were like 2 songs that they extended and a couple scenes that they added. And it was like, whoa, this is cool. I haven't seen
Oh
this
my
before.
gosh! Wait, I hope they re-record it.
I would love that too, because yeah, the original cast recording, like 1988 or something, is
Yeah.
like really bad quality. It's so old. They have
Well,
better technology now.
Exactly. Oh
But
my gosh! Wow.
I highly recommend it if you get the chance to see it.
Yes.
Hopefully not with like $3,000 tickets. It wouldn't
Right,
be that. It's not worth that
right.
much. But yeah, it was really cool.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever heard of this like internet musical, Epic the Musical?
I have. I've listened. I had a friend who showed me a few songs. That is the only exposure I've had. I heard a few songs and I was like, this is like vaguely Lin-Manuel Miranda-ish.
Yes.
And that's the only exposure I've had.
Oh my God! Wait. See, did they just like show you like random songs throughout, or did they show you like the first 3?
I think they showed me their favorites.
No.
I don't remember. So
no.
the thing is I don't remember them. So I could probably listen to the whole thing
Okay,
again and have a brand new
perfect.
experience. But yes, I have heard
Yeah.
a lot about that. Not a lot about it, but I've heard a little bit about
Yeah.
that. So
Oh my gosh, no, that you can't do that to a musical. You can't be like, here are my favorites. I
no,
will
let's
say
listen to Hamilton. Let's listen to like Burn and the ending song only, and that's it.
only
Like
that's the only
that'd be
exposure you
insane.
get. I will say how I got introduced to it was like through fan edits, and my sister
Oh,
listened
to Epic.
yeah, it was it
That
was
is
fan
really funny.
edits. But it was one of the songs, and then I added it to my play. It was in fact the last song. I'm a
Oh,
hypocrite.
so you were the oh,
I am a
listened to the
hypocrite.
last song first.
But I didn't know
No
it was the
way.
last song in my defense. I
Okay,
didn't know. I
that's
was like, I
fair.
really like this song. And then my sister, she's a theater kid. So she's like,
Yep.
you must listen to this. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll listen to it. And I sat down and wow. So he, from what I'm aware of, I could be completely wrong. Sorry. But he started it as his capstone project
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
in college. And then he worked on it 7 years later and then made it what it is now.
That's really cool. Like the Duffer Brothers with Stranger Things.
Exactly. No,
Oh
same
my
with Lynn.
gosh.
7 years with Hamilton.
Oh,
So-
that was his thing too. His
Yeah.
capstone. I did not know that.
I didn't know it was. I don't think it was capstone, but it took him 7
Oh,
years.
but yeah, it took him a while. Yeah.
A while to do it. So that leads me to ask, like, is there a specific genre of I guess yeah, like filmmaking that you would like to compose to at the moment?
Oh my goodness, that is a great question. I would say more animation. If there was ever a chance for me to compose for an animated film, amazing. But at this point, I feel like any film that is not like horror. I feel like
Fair
I would
enough.
like
No,
to.
no,
I
I
would like to
agree.
compose to. I'll totally compose for a horror film if somebody wants me to. But I feel like everything else, you can have a lot more emotion and stuff. And I want to expand my style as well. So I'm like, any chance I get would be amazing. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in my career. I think ideal dream goal of what I would want to compose for is probably some sort of like fantasy, maybe animated, maybe not. Something non-realistic, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Just something fun. It's something that would be able to have a really unique musical landscape with leitmotifs and really fun instrumentation and all of that. I think that would be my ultimate dream.
Yeah.
To be able to do.
Is that like when it comes to like fantasy and stuff? Is that what kind of led you to want to do film composition?
Yeah, I would say so because it was like the Harry Potter, Star Wars stuff. That's Star Wars fantasy, quote unquote. So yeah, I would say the more fantastical, made up elements of stories and filmmaking are definitely what got me interested. And it's more fun when there's like made up things and you get to add music to that and all that. It's a great time. I feel like, and a lot of the things that I do as well, right now, like the stories that I try to write for are just like fantasy, not real things,
Yeah.
and so it's really fun.
Do you read books by any chance?
No, I wish I did. I wish I
Sorry,
did.
but you're a very very busy bee. So like
Unfortunately, yes.
Aw.
No, but I would love to read books. I think I need to get recommended a few really good ones, and then I will like lock in on them, and hopefully then I could continue reading books. But no, I know there's like so many stories, like
there's so
untapped reservoir of stories that I've never experienced. But yes, at some point in my life, I love to be in like cottagecore house,
Oh my
no
God,
responsibilities, just reading
yeah.
books all day. I would love
Yes.
it. Reading books and writing music, amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes, no, that would be awesome. I know what's been gaining popularity, I would say since around like post-COVID would be graphic audiobooks,
I have not heard of those. What is that?
which is like I find it fascinating because this is new apparently because the actual company, they're called Graphic Audio, and what they do, they get a full cast
Okay.
and sound effects and music.
So you're just listening to like a movie basically, but you don't see
Yeah.
see it. That's really interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yes, so they're called Graphic Audio, and like every month or so they release like more and more audiobooks. But it's like I would like to say they're kind of like on the newer releases are more prioritized, and then like over
Yes.
time they're gonna start doing the
Like classics and older books and
exactly
things.
like that. But
Interesting.
but that's what I was telling my friends about it. I was like that's what I love about the audiobooks. It's the music. It's not really the sound effects because like whatever. Because the actual characters themselves, like the voice actors, they can emote those emotions.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the music, I'm like, that's what truly sets the tone. So when I listen to a regular audiobook, I'm like, I need some ambiance because
Yep.
I can't do the like someone just telling me a story. Like I need to set the scene.
Yep.
But I think that's something that if you want to challenge, I think that'd be really cool.
That would be incredible. I've never heard of that. I think now that you mention it, I think I saw an ad about Harry Potter. Are they recording one for Harry Potter?
Yes.
Okay. Because I remember seeing like this person is cast as Dumbledore in the
Yes,
book, and
yes,
I'm like,
yes,
what do
yeah.
you mean the book? But no, yeah, I think it was Was it Cillian? No, Cillian, not Cillian Murphy. It was somebody that was cast as Dumbledore that I knew. Was it the actor that plays Dr. House? I think it was.
I'm
Anyway,
not sure. All I know is that I think I remember. I think it's Keira Knightley. She's portraying Professor McGonagall. I think.
McGonagall? Really?
Yeah, which
Interesting.
is very interesting.
No, that's a unique choice. Like, young Keira Knightley with this, like, old 120-year-old professor.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. No, but that is super cool. I did not know about graphic audiobooks. I will have to
Yes,
look into those.
you have to check them out. What's something that you've learned recently from the projects that you've done so far this year or in your whole
Ooh,
life?
I mean, the thing that I struggle the most with in music is structure and making something, like, actually work, as far as, like, a time-based thing actually work. I feel like it's the same principles in filmmaking and storytelling and all of that. So I've been enjoying learning about it because I feel like it applies to everything. But it's been so difficult ever since I started composing. If I just want, like a 5-minute standalone piece, like, how do you get that piece to actually feel satisfying? And you start, you keep going, and then you end, and you're like, that was a good piece. Or like, make it so that after 2 minutes you're not bored or something like that. And I think I've been able to improve a lot with that over the course of my time in the composition studio, because my professor hounds on me about it all the time, as he should. And finding different forms, and like an ABA form or like a ternary form or a rondo form, which are like the music terms for it, but it's the same sort of application for books and stories as well, where you might have like a quiet scene that is padded with 2 intense scenes or something like that, or an intense scene that's padded with 2 quiet scenes. That's just like an ABA kind of thing, where it's like you need balance, you need a hook, you need like suspense, and you need satisfaction to be able to get people to enjoy what you built up, which I know is so important for plot in movies, of course, and just editing too. I mean, I guess on the meta level, you can go plot, and then you can look into it and be like, editing, this specific shot has to be padded with this, or like you need to lead up to this shot or whatever. So that is something that I could say I've learned a lot about recently, is how to structure pieces. I feel like the pieces that I write now, I have a lot more natural of a sense of like how to make something feel satisfying. And so, I wrote a viola choir piece in a couple days recently.
My God, okay.
It was for 8 violas, and I was coming up on the deadline, and I was like, I don't really have much of this done, so I kind of gotta pound this out, and I did. And by the time I was done, I looked at it again, and I was like, this is pretty well structured. I'm really happy with this. And I wasn't thinking about it too much, so I think I've been able to kind of get closer to understanding how structure works. But it's been difficult. It's a really weird thing, for sure.
So in not only is there like a formula, but is there mathematics behind it?
For sure. I mean, when it comes to music, you can choose to make anything like your composition method. So we've learned a little bit about like very new age contemporary composers who are like, I'm going to make a number sequence, and then each number corresponds to a note, and I'm going to plug it into a calculator, and whatever the calculator says is what I put on the page. And so it's like, you can use math as a tool if you want, but it's also built into kind of the natural sounding, musical, artful ways that we kind of approach things like structure and composition. Specifically, if we're talking about like the most common form that I use and the most common form that I feel like I hear, the ABA, having like, one section interrupted by a middle section and then a return to the first section, I feel like that's less mathematical and more just satisfying in the sense that it's balanced, and just we as humans, I don't know, we're symmetrical. Like, if we're holding things in both arms, it's like we want to be balanced. And if we have something that rips us out of a comfort zone in the B section, and then we go back to the comfort zone again, it's like, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel satisfying. So I feel like you could look at it with math, absolutely. And I'm sure there is tons of math embedded everywhere, but it's also possible to just be like, it's human nature. It's kind of what we enjoy and what makes us happy. So there's different ways to approach it, for sure.
That's so cool. Now to kind of switch the conversation a little bit, like, what would you say that is underrated about orchestral music?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say it in general is underrated.
Mind you, I've been on instrumentals since I was in the womb. My mom would
No,
play
literally-
Vivaldi and Mozart for me. Like,
They say that. They're like, if you want your baby to be smart, put on some Mozart.
And she
Wolfgang
did.
will fix your child. Literally, no, I would say just in general, orchestral music is underrated in the sense that like there are centuries of really really cool music, and not just Western music. I mean, Western music. Everyone thinks of classical music, and they're like, oh, Bach.
That's
And like German composers, and that's it. It's like
Him.
it's not just a bunch of German dead guys. There's a lot more. Um, there's like I mean there's so many cultures obviously, and so just thinking of like instrumental music from around the world and from all these centuries and things, like there's so much music. There's literally like millions of melodies and written music and non-written music and recorded tracks and all of this that people could be listening to. And I feel like once in a while there will be some pieces that kind of break through, and I'll see like viral TikTok sounds. Like I saw Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto had a TikTok sound, a little snippet that was like really viral a while ago as kind of this like heavenly sounding amazing thing, and I was like, that's great. You should look into everything else that he's ever written because it's the same. But I mean, it's very easy to get frustrated. I think for musicians in the music building, we're always like, man, people need to appreciate this kind of music more. But it's also like music evolves. So I appreciate the fact that people like pop music and more modern music, and that's great. That's amazing. But I think it's definitely very important to make sure that orchestral music and instrumental music stays alive in all the ways that it will. I think it will. I don't think it'll go away.
And I think so too, because of I assume you've heard of the show Bridgerton.
Yes.
They've
Oh my
been-
goodness.
they've very much like catapulted pop instrumentals to a whole new level, because I remember listening to so many of them that were accessible at the time, like in middle school, but now they're becoming more like recent releases.
Yes.
And people are like, we would love to hear this song instrumental, and like it truly modernizes orchestral music in a different way, because they're actually like listening like, oh, we would love to hear this song with an orchestra, because we understand how beautiful the song itself is, so beautiful, or it's so cool. Imagine with it an orchestra. And that's why I appreciate artists like Ariana. She loves a live orchestra, the way how I would say Taylor Swift loves a guitar and a piano. I'm a Swiftie, so like I love that you could break down her music to just one of those instruments.
Yeah.
Ariana, you could translate them to orchestras, and it's like, I think that is the coolest thing.
That's really cool.
Ever. Oh my gosh. Is there a song that is pop that you would love to hear?
Oh, that's a
version?
great question. Oh no.
You
Hold
can
on.
take your time.
I'm gonna look through my playlist really fast because that is a wonderful question. You know, one of the things that I've liked a lot recently is the kind of 80s city pop, J-pop music.
Oh my god.
I
niche.
guess I mean, I feel like it's not modern, but a song like the I'm gonna look at the name right now. I think it's just called "Stay with Me," the anglicized version. I don't know if you've heard it. It's a really good song. I would love to hear that in an orchestra because it's got that like really really neat like Japanese like retro flair to it, and hearing that with like some cool strings and making it maybe like a 1960s sort of sound in the strings would be amazing.
That would be really, really cool. I would say the only like 80s instrumental that I know of is Smooth Criminal, which I don't know if that's 80s. Is that 80s?
I think so. I
I
want to
hope-
say
oh my
that's
God.
80s. Let me check really quick. Smooth Criminal. I love Smooth Criminal.
It's so good. When the two cellos played, yeah.
Yep, they're good. They're good. I see. The thing is, I know so many people who hate on the two cellos and modern pop groups like that. I know. I agree with you.
Wait. Would you say that's a controversial opinion, that you like them?
Yes, in the music. If I were to walk in the music building or the cello studio and say that I like two cellos, I feel like I would get some side eyes because it is. Well, I think there are a lot of people who very quickly jump to the assumption that like anything pop is bad. Because of the kind of resentment that they have for people liking pop music and not Beethoven. And it's really funny to see those sometimes too. Because I had my music history professor the other day last week.
Sorry.
Oh, the plane, yes.
Yeah, the bird is okay because he's just speaking. The bird is, I can't shoo him away, but this plane, yeah. Hold for sound.
Well, yes, so the last week, my music history professor, he went on like a full-blown rant for about, I want to say 5 or 6 minutes of our 50-minute class, which is a very short amount of time, on how much he hates Taylor Swift. And he was like, yes, he was like, she just, okay, so we were talking about Knights, I think they were called Knights Chorale Pieces. That's also the name of a UCF singing ensemble, funnily enough. But they were called Knights Chorale Pieces, where in the medieval period of time, there were a lot of pieces that were about knights and maidens, and that's kind of like the structure
medieval
of the
times,
piece. I know.
yeah.
And he was like, you know what? this sounds stupid today, but look at any of Taylor Swift's music, it's always the same stuff. And he kept going, and we were all laughing because he was just like going crazy against Taylor Swift. So I feel like he's one of the people who definitely has like the resentment towards newer music because it's not old music. But I don't know. I've always felt differently because it's like new music is music the same way that old music is, and definitely being a part of the composition program has opened my mind to a lot more definitions of music, where it's like this random mathematical formula that some guy in 1965 made and called music can be music, I guess, kind of. So of course Taylor Swift can be music because she's, she sings and she plays the guitar, and so that's fine.
Oh, I would say, yeah, that's so funny that she's brought up in rooms like yours.
Yes, literally.
Like, I would never, like, that's the last
No,
person.
she is a common topic, I will say, because
That's
she is just the
crazy.
go-to person to talk about pop music that most people in the music building hate, because it's like,
Wow.
I will say, I can't listen to too many of her songs
Fair
musically,
enough.
because like they're the same four chords over and over and over again.
Fair
I do
enough.
not like four chord loops. Like Hans Zimmer has a few of those. I'm like, I'm okay. But there's nothing wrong about that. It's just my personal opinion. I don't
Yeah.
like listening to that like crazy. Like All Too Well 10-minute version, I'm like, it's a cool song for the first 2 minutes. But other than that, I get a little bit bored.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
No, and I think I would say that's what's changed about me recently is because I grew up with so many instrumentals that I did not really care for lyrics. I was like, if the production catches my interest,
Yep.
that's why I love also house music because it's fun production.
No, literally, it's really creative too.
It's awesome. So I'm like, the lyrics, they're there. I don't really care. But then with moving up to Orlando and stuff, and my friends introduced me to their artists that they listen to, like Taylor Swift, because I wasn't a big fan myself. I was like, I know of
Yep.
her. But then they started to make me appreciate lyrics in music. So then now I've started to really hone in on, like, yes, her lyrics are so captivating where, like, I don't really pay attention to production when it comes to her that much. So then
So yeah, that's what gets your attention. So that's fine.
so
Like,
but I think that's what's cool is that with every piece of art, you really you have that focal lens of like, what am I really focusing in on?
Yes.
That makes you appreciate the artist and their medium of art. This is
That
a
is
random
so true.
question.
yeah.
If you could place yourself in any franchise, whether you yourself
Oh my goodness.
or work for the franchise, what would it be and why?
Oh no. Okay, I feel like. You mean if I was in the story or working on the franchise?
It's up to you which one, which
Oh,
which
wait, no,
question.
you just said that.
It's okay, or you can
Wait,
answer
wait, wait.
both.
I would say if I had to be somewhere, this is a really bad decision because I'd probably end up dead. But I would say the Attack on Titan world because I love the vibes so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I haven't mentioned it yet. I'm very surprised, but Attack on Titan's like my favorite piece of media ever.
It's insane.
It's so good. But no, I love the vibes there so much, even though people get eaten and all
Yeah.
that, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
The colors, the art is just incredible. I love it. It's my favorite thing. To work on it, I would also say the same thing. Attack on Titan.
Oh my gosh,
So that was
yeah.
I guess that was an easy question.
Oh my no,
but-
but I would say like with being a fan of this show, have you ever thought of what's it called? Like maybe making a melody based on the characters.
Of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
See, that's funny because I've done 3 hours of that. I have like 3.5 hours of orchestral music that has been around that story. So you kind of
Okay,
guessed that I already do that.
You gotta send the link, share,
See,
post.
once I finish any of it, it will be posted somewhere. I
Please.
need to have a portfolio first.
Oh my gosh.
The only thing I've actually finished, or two things, I guess. I've submitted them to festivals. They didn't get in, but they're done. and
They're
it's
missing
amazing.
out. They're missing out.
I know they're missing. No, but that's so funny that you came up with that because it's like, yeah, I've done that for years. It's been like 5 years of me working on different things as part of that project because it's so much fun. I love the story so much, and all the characters are amazing. So I do like, I call them like character suites. We're all
Yeah.
right, like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
30 minutes or so of music. That kind of follows like a character story, and it just has like different melodies that represent different things and all that. I have worked on 3 of them. One of them is done, one of them is mostly done, and one of them is halfway done.
Okay.
So it's kind of coming along.
Oh my gosh, oh, that's
But-
so cool. Oh my god,
It's
I can't.
really fun.
How I look at it is when it comes to shows like this that are animation, I am always animation first, and then
Mm-hmm.
if it's possibility to do live action, I like seeing fan casting of like
Oh
who
my gosh, yes.
modern day can portray these characters, and some of them I'm like, guys, what are we doing? Hey, just because they're famous doesn't mean that they
Okay,
could
but
portray
have
the
you
character
seen?
good.
So you've seen Attack on Titan, I would
Yes.
assume. What do you think about Chris Evans as Commander Erwin? Do you
Yeah,
like it? Because I feel
like
like younger Chris
it.
Evans would be
Younger,
the perfect casting.
incredible.
Like that's just my go-to whenever I think of that. No,
Oh,
I've
that's
thought of that
good,
before. It's
yeah.
really funny.
Because the reason why I think why we fan cast live action is because we want more.
Yeah, no, that's
We
literally
want
it.
more Attack on
It's
Titan,
like,
and it sucks that it's finished. It's a finished
yeah.
storyline.
Well, I'm glad it's finished. If they keep it going, I'm also kind of
No.
like we need to
Alright.
stop at some point, guys. But no, I hope that there is. I hear that there's something coming. I don't know what it is. There's some sort of
The rumors
not
are
a
saying?
spin-off. There's rumors that there's like other like OVAs that they're gonna make. I don't know. I don't know much about it because it's very new. There's also rumors of a live action, which I'm kind of like,
No.
please don't. Like, please
When
do
I'm
not touch
dead.
that. Yeah,
When
no,
I'm
literally,
dead, go
after
ahead.
after I can't see, like,
Why?
I
They tried doing
know.
the live action, or show or movie.
They tried 2 movies
It-
in like 2013, and they were awful.
Horrible.
Horrible, awful.
Who greenlit
Like,
that?
I don't know. And they spent so much money on the VFX, and it looks awful. Like,
Horrible.
it's just disgustingly
And that's
awful.
a horror movie.
Yep. And it's set in like the modern day, like apocalyptic place. So it's instead of like the German looking like medieval buildings, it's
Yeah.
all concrete parking garages. It's really weird. It's
Ew.
really weird.
They try to tap into like dystopian type of
Yeah,
thing maybe.
they
Ew.
did. It was like 2013. I'm sure that was the craze, but
Yeah.
nope. It was
No.
bad. I haven't watched any of it really. I've just seen clips, and it's like,
Me
"Ugh,
too. I
that's
can't.
gross."
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that. But what are your thoughts with that when it comes to animation? To
I
live
definitely have thoughts.
Yeah.
I feel like in general I don't like it because I feel like when you have a good movie, no matter what medium it is, I don't think it needs to be redone. So like all the Disney live actions, I'm kind of against them
The
all.
only one I like is Cinderella.
I haven't seen that. See, that's the only one I haven't seen.
Are you?
I like Jungle
Alex.
Book.
What?
I'm not gonna lie.
What?
I think the Jungle Book live action was pretty good.
Oh my God,
Other
Cinderella
than that,
is their first one. Is the first one that they
yes,
did.
and it was less like shot for shot, right?
Yeah, yes, it's like kind of its own thing. Like everyone
Okay.
in the story, like their characters are much more fleshed out.
That's
The-
good. See, I like that.
It makes
I
sense.
would like
I was
that.
like, you know what? That one's well deserved. Everyone's like, so why didn't we do that? Why didn't we go back and take care of it?
Yep.
So I think instrumentals go crazy, Alex.
Yes,
oh my
I agree.
gosh.
From Cinderella, I think I have heard.
Yes.
I think I've heard that score before. This is Patrick Doyle. He did the 4th Harry Potter film,
Yes,
and
Patrick
he has
Doyle.
not given that up. His Instagram is just like, remember when I composed a Harry Potter film?
He's like,
Remember when
don't,
I did this?
don't forget the
Yeah,
ancient
please
text.
don't. Literally, it's like poor Tom Felton. I love Tom Felton. He's a great
Yeah.
guy, and good for him for like
Yeah.
you know
It's hard.
all of the stuff that he does with Harry Potter. Still, I'm
Yeah.
glad he's making his money.
Yeah.
But it's also like that was like 25 years ago. At this point, like you can move on a little bit, but it's okay. Good
yeah,
for him.
I think good for him, and I think it sucks because that's where I have like my conflicts with child acting because it's not their fault that they're stunted in those
Oh
characters.
my gosh, yes.
Like same thing with the Stranger Things cast. Like, fortunately,
I've seen so many memes where it's like Noah Schnapp's like, I'm gonna go on to new roles, and then the meme is like, yeah, no, you're gonna go to Comic-Con for the next 40 years.
Aw,
So it's like
and
I
it
feel bad for them.
sucks. It sucks.
Um,
And some of the actors, yeah, well, you deserve it. But then others, I'm like, they were like kids. Like, it's not their fault that we as fans
Yep.
grouped them into that.
Yeah, now they're forever Stranger Things. So
Yeah.
it's like that kind of sucks.
It sucks, but I mean, they did a good job. They set a great precedent for those characters from book to live action adaptations.
Of course.
So I'm honestly, it would have been cool since they were doing a remake of the show for them to tap into animation. I would eat it up.
I would have liked that too because I feel like I feel like there's a lot better chance for artistry with the animation, especially if it was hand drawn or something. That would be amazing.
Yes,
That'd be really, really
yes.
good. Like some really high quality 2D animation
I'm thinking
for
like
Harry Potter.
I always think of Mappa because Mappa's like one of the best
Well,
animators.
yeah, except for Attack on Titan. They did my boy dirty. But they're really good otherwise, for sure.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool. So second to last question, I would say, do you have a favorite moment or a reoccurring moment every time you compose I wouldn't say a score in that sense.
You mean as far as
Like that makes
something
you
that I come back to every time I compose?
Yeah, I kind of like that moment of like I'll give my example. Like every time I contribute to a project to any degree, I always like go to bed sad but wake up really happy because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is why I love film, this is why I love
Yeah.
working in the entertainment industry. And that's like one of the things that my parents always taught me is like, if you're gonna you only have one life, and like work towards getting a career that you go to bed sad because the day's over but wake up happy because you're going to do what you love.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. I like the sad then happy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I relate to that for sure. This last summer, I was when I composed about an hour's worth of music for the Attack on Titan stuff, for one character, and I had this period of like 3 weeks where every single day I was getting in like 4 minutes of music, 5 minutes of music. It was like fully notated orchestral scores, and I was so productive. And I remember every time I had a good day, which was most of the days, I'd go to bed so happy. I'm like, this is great. This is amazing. And then I get to do that again the next day. It was wonderful. So yes, I feel like it's so much fun. And for me, it's so much fun to like be in that headspace too, where I'm sure you have experienced this too with creative projects where you can get lost so easily when working on something.
Yeah.
And especially for music, like I'll start at 8 p.m. and I'll like look at the clock, it's 5 a.m. and I'm like,
Oh
oh my
my
gosh, this is crazy. No, because it's so easy to do, because I literally like, you can get so enthralled in what you're working on. It's so much fun. I love it. But yeah, I relate to that for sure.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Well, I would say my last question for you is that, hold on, let me pull it up right here. If there's something you could tell your future self, whether it's a year from now or far into the future, regarding your current journey navigating the entertainment industry, what would you say?
Oh my gosh, telling my future self. Well, I really hope my future self is able to find a career that actually does what I wanted to do now. Because there's a lot of pressure for me to go into a career that is like solely computer science, or something that's just like, or like the defense industry. Never. Something like that, where it's like, I'm just gonna sit at a computer all day and code and type, and that's it. And I do that for 40 hours a week the rest of my life. I do not want to do that. So I think telling my future self, I'd definitely be like, please actually go into a field you want to go into, which would be a creative field, and working on creative projects, whether that's film music or something else creative. It could be, there's a lot of things I think that would satisfy that. So I think that is my answer.
Well, that's the end of our conversation, Alex. It was a
my
pleasure
gosh. Well,
speaking
thank you so
with
much.
you.
I really
And
appreciate it. Yes.
I hope to see your name on the big screen someday.
You can see it on the big screen right now if you put a projector up and put my name on the projector. It's perfect. That's all you need.
Okay, then in the theaters.
Okay, perfect.
Then in the
Yeah.
theaters,
That's fine.
maybe alongside the nominee of a Grammy, original score, and the
That-
Oscars.
That'll happen at some point.
Well, there we go.
The goal would be an Oscar.
That
A nomination. I don't need to win. I'm fine.
No, but
or
being-
shortlist is low-key the goal. Shortlist. That's a more realistic goal.
Oh no, there's
but-
no such thing. Shoot for the stars.
Perfect. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Hopefully that happens one day.
Yes, it will. It will. But that's all for today. I do want to give yourself a moment. Is there anything you would like to promote?
I would say the only thing, I have a lot of pieces being played all the time. One of them that is on my mind right now, I just finished working on, is a piece called Virgo, like the zodiac sign. It's part of a larger work called Zodiac, as part of the UCF Composition Studio. And on Thursday, April 9th at 7 p.m., I believe, at the Dr. Phillips Center, it's going to be performed. It's a really interesting piece. It's 6 percussion instruments, and it's about, I think, an hour straight through, just the whole piece.
Oh my gosh.
Not that I wrote like 5 minutes, and the rest of us wrote like 5 minutes as well. But it should be really cool. And so I would say, yeah, Thursday, April 9th at 7 p.m. is when that is.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to mark my calendar. But that's all we have for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can listen to Brewed Scenes on YouTube and on Spotify at the moment. Would you like to promote your socials?
I would say the only social I need to promote is my Instagram. It is my last name, Hynds, HYNDSAL. And then I also have a website called hindsight.com, which is really funny. It's my last name, then ITE, Hindsight. So that's where any of my stuff will be uploaded once I finish my portfolio someday.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. And that is all we have for today. Bye-bye.